Yes, America. Hello, everyone. I'm the Talk Radio Protege, and this is the Protege program. Has anybody but me noticed that there's not been a lot of traffic around the grand Russia conspiracy? I can't recall having seen anything on Russia since the Jared Kushner event. Not complaining, I was sick and tired of the Russia garbage anyway. But it is interesting to me that for several weeks now, Russia's dropped off the map entirely. Maybe it's the fact that I don't watch the fake news network or MSLSD, but don't worry, if something big comes up, you'll hear about it from me. Until then, the world continues to turn, and we're still on the train to Friday. And the story that caught my eye today comes from a CBS affiliate in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The headline from the Drudge Report was, "Illegals in Texas now live in fear." But from the affiliate's website, the headline is actually a lot more mellow. Arrests of undocumented immigrants climbing in North Texas. Now, there's that political correct phrase, undocumented immigrants, as if that legalizes their presence here. But you might think there was a social justice spin to this piece, but you read down through it, and it's mostly just reporting of facts. The only real social justicey part was a woman that was interviewed who made this statement: "It's pure fear now. If I talk to other immigrants, it's the same, just fear." As if all immigrants in the entire country are all afraid of being deported by ICE at any given moment to Mexico. Doesn't even matter where they came from, just they're going to get deported to Mexico. No, I don't believe that. This has to be crap. But it's a good story all in all. So this would be a really boring video if I just said, yeah, there was a pretty good story about immigrants living in fear. So I want to compare this story to one that was published by the fake news network back in March, just to compare the takes of these two. One illegal immigration story that focuses on the facts that are going on. They did report the number of arrests that ICE has been making going up. Did give some hard numbers in the percentages. Compare that to this story about undocumented immigrants that was titled "White, Irish, and Undocumented in America" by the dear Donnie O'Sullivan. If you're on the ball with this social justice crap on immigration, you're going to know where this article is going ahead of time. Here's their opening paragraph. "They're spared the glances, the 'go back to your country' slurs facing so many undocumented migrants in the U.S., but they live in fear. They don't call the police when there's a break-in. They think twice before they bring a sick child to the emergency room, only they're white and they're Irish." The struggle of the white undocumented immigrant. Oh, bully. See how racist you are? You thought we were talking about Latinos and Hispanics and Muslims, but we weren't. This is a white undocumented immigrant, so you've got to love him. You have to accept. Yeah, that's the words they want running through your mind as you're reading this story. Oh my gosh, there's undocumented white people in America? I had no idea. We've got to do amnesty for all, and we've got to do it yesterday. No. Oh, I'm actually face-palming here. No, the focus has never been on the race of the illegal immigrants. It's been on that word that you've subbed out in favor of undocumented, the part that makes their presence in the United States of America illegal. The breaking of the law part, that's what conservatives and Republicans are concerned about. The color of their skin does not matter. We're not seeing race when we look at the illegal immigration problem. We're seeing a crime problem, people, okay? The next key phrase I want to look at, People are generally anxious when they're out and about and are electing to lay low now because it seems that the ICE agents are using their discretion in a much greater capacity now than ever before. Ooh, those evil government agents that are just out to get everybody, especially these undocumented immigrants. They're just trying to go about their business, mind what they're doing. This agency is enforcing the law, all right? And before we go off on these people like they're evil police officers, these are not a crew of police officers that's ticketing everybody that's doing 2 to 3 miles an hour over the speed limit in a given area. No, no, no. This is a law enforcement agency whose responsibility is to maintain the sovereignty of the United States border. Every illegal immigrant is an affront to the sovereignty of the United States. Now, we've started the feels train there in that first paragraph, and it does not stop here. 3,000 miles away in San Francisco, Shauna is also anxious. She came here in her early 20s. This is where I became an adult. My life is here, she says. Like many undocumented Irish, she entered the U.S. legally on a holiday visa, thinking she'd stay only a few months, a year at most. After long overstaying her holiday visa, she's still here. 10 years? 10 years. How do you okay, analogy time. How do you overstay your movie theater ticket to watch the same movie 10 times? All right? And that's not even a good analogy. You're in the case of a movie ticket, say you walk in to the movie, most people go to the movies Friday night, Saturday, sometime, walk into a movie, watch the same movie 10 times. You just flushed about 20 hours down the toilet. That's not going to get most people fired from a job, especially if they're doing this on a weekend. It might get you kicked out of the movie theater, but it's not going to cause you any serious repercussions in your life. What kind of life were you living that you could afford to take a holiday to the United States for a year and then just accidentally overstay your visa for 10 years? First of all, how do you overstay your visa accidentally for 10 years? Second of all, how do you have a life that allows you to do that? Seriously? Seriously. We're supposed to forgive the violation of our immigration laws because some illegals don't break the law until after they arrive in the country? Analogy time, again. Our legal system is now supposed to forgive drivers that enter the road totally legally, that break no laws for the first 10% of the time that they're on the road, and the whole rest of the time after that they can just do whatever they want. No, 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 no. That's not how the legal system works. That's not how the law is supposed to work. Imagine we took this same principle for all crimes. Just apply this to anything. You've been a good person for the first 10% of your life, so now you can do whatever you want. No! That's not how the legal system is supposed to work. Come on, people. Besides that, this is nothing more than a trick to try and elicit sympathy. As if having sympathy for a person that commits a crime legalizes their illegal behavior. That's not how the legal system works, people. Come on. And it's especially bad considering this next statement that she makes. There's nothing stopping me from going home. I have family, support. It's not that I can't go home, it's that I can't come back. Get to that in a second. What kind of family do you have that you can just abandon them for 10 years? What kind of support group just leaves you to go for 10 years and doesn't want you to come home every once in a while? The part about not coming back, that has to do with the fact that if you overstay your holiday visa for a really long time, you can have your visa privileges revoked. You can be barred from entering the country again. These are just United States laws. And sorry, not sorry, maybe you should have thought about that when you were prepared to break the law. The consequences for your actions as a criminal are not the problem of the American people at large, especially the law-abiding ones. That's your problem. That is not the American people's problem. If you came to this country on a holiday, fell in love, and decided fell in love with the country, not with some person, fell in love with the country, and decided that you wanted to live here, maybe you should have thought about how badly you wanted to live here, especially considering you decided you didn't have to obey U.S. law when it came to your holiday visa. Maybe you should have thought, this is a great country. I'm going to go home and I'm going to apply to come and move here permanently. I'm going to apply to come and relocate here permanently. But no, I'm just going to ignore my visa. Now, as to the penalties for overstaying visas, we can have a conversation about whether those penalties are too harsh, too punitive. Fine. But the solution to harsh penalties is not to not apply them. If it's the law, it needs to be applied, because by saying, okay, you're this type of person, so you just don't have to have the law applied to you, that opens the gateway for the slippery slope. You know, you're this type of person, you're a good person over here, and then this person that's just a little less good than you, well, we have to let them in. They almost made it, but not quite. But this is about people's rights to live wherever they want, so we're going to let them stay, and we start making our way back until eventually we get to the point where we were just a few years ago, where it was open season on coming and staying in the United States. And the feels train still has not stopped, because, as it turns out, according to another quote from the article, a lot of people have been undocumented here for more than half of their life. Okay, so we've went from 10% of your life to 50% of your life now. If you get away with the crime that you committed for half of your life, then you're exonerated. You don't have to be punished for that anymore. Imagine, again, applying this philosophy to any other crime. Start with the little ones, start with the baby ones, like speeding or jaywalking, and work your way up to the unforgivable ones, like rape and murder. Can you imagine for a rapist getting off scot-free for a crime that he committed when he was 20 because he didn't get caught till he was 40? Half of his life has gone by. You know, he's lived out about half of his life. We're just going to forget about the little rape thing that you did. You know, I can hear the cries of patriarchy. They're coming over the hills. I can't do the nearly justifiably, so I'm not even going to try. But you get the point. This is not just a little thing that you're doing here. You know, there's a similar crime to being here in the United States illegally. It's called trespassing. You don't get to stay wherever you're trespassing just because you haven't been detected for a really long time. No. You have to leave. In fact, longer durations of trespassing elicit more harsh punishments. Come on, people. This is arithmetic here. This is easy. The more you commit a crime, the more harshly you're going to get punished. This is easy. And it wouldn't be a fake news article about illegal immigration if we didn't bring up the worn-out, tired old saw excuse for why the undocumented must remain here in America. The vast majority of undocumented Irish here are from parts of Ireland where there are not a lot of jobs. And most undocumented here are doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. There's the magic phrase that just amnestizes everyone. You know, not only is this a terrible excuse for amnesty, it's a slap in the face to two different groups of people. Hardworking, blue-collar Americans that are actually willing to do these jobs. You know, you see them in nearly every fast food restaurant that you go to. And the legal immigrants that are in line that are waiting to come into this country, that are going through years of hardship, thousands of dollars in fees and payments. We can talk about whether or not that's too hard, but the fact of the matter is, there's people breaking those rules, and it's hurting people that are obeying the rules. This is not okay. And as to this, Americans don't want to do X jobs. I can't speak for everyone in flyover America, but when I was very nearly down on my luck when it came to a job, I was prepared to flip burgers at McDonald's. I was prepared to throw pizzas for Pizza Hut. I was prepared to run the cash register at Walmart. For 12 months, I applied for every job that I could find that was in the field of study that I went to college for 12 months. And I was preparing myself to work those menial jobs before I found the one that I have now. So I don't buy this lie, it just has to be a lie, that in a country where there are 95 million people that do not have a job, they all monolithically refuse to work these menial jobs. I have no doubt, it actually wouldn't surprise me if it turns out that all the millennials, the snowflakes, thanks my generation, just flat refused to work any job that they thought was beneath them. You know, I've got a college degree. I can't be flipping burgers at McDonald's. This is undoubtedly why millennials so heartily support the 26-year-old mooch provision of Obamacare. But there just can't be zero Americans unwilling to clean up other people's trash, to serve other people fast food, to do other people's yard work. In fact, in a country where there are 95 million people that do not have any job whatsoever, it is ludicrous to suggest that none of those people are willing to do the hard and menial jobs. Just mind-boggling. Now, this is the part that really irked me. Somehow, several of these undocumented Irish people apparently got an audience with the president back in March when this article was written. Now, first of all, I wonder if they were deported by ICE immediately after. Second of all, maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm just a redneck. But I don't think the president owes a non-American, everyday, regular Joe, citizen of another country, an audience. If it was me, I don't think I would give an audience to any person advocating for the rights of non-Americans over Americans, especially if the rights being advocated for the non-Americans were going to hurt Americans. And the Fields train still hasn't ended. It goes all the way to the station with this very last line from one of these undocumented people that CNN interviewed. Maybe I'll go home one day, but this feels like my home now. Oh, darling. Oh, pigeon. Doesn't that just give you a thrill running up your leg? Or maybe that's just my leg falling asleep. Doesn't that just give you the butterfly tinglies in your belly? Ugh, face palming so hard. Go to any country that's not in the European Union and is not the US, is not Canada. Go there, get arrested by immigration, and tell them that you feel like their country is your home, and that's why you didn't go through the proper immigration channels, because you're just a citizen. That's just your home, and you just get to go there. And I will hold my breath while I count the seconds that it takes for them to throw you out of the country onto your butt. Feels does not equal citizenship, people. Just emotions does not a citizenship make. Oh, I think I'm getting an aneurysm. The illegal immigration fight is one that we are going to have to battle until anti-Americanism is driven from this country. Do not let yourself be suckered in by the emotional manipulation of progressives. especially, let me warn you, especially when it comes from people that you think are your friends, that you think you know. When you're having a conversation about illegal immigration and somebody turns to you and says, I'm an undocumented migrant. First of all, maybe you should call ICE. Second of all, they're emotionally manipulating you trying to do that. They're trying to get you to cast aside your principles just because you happen to know somebody that you kind of maybe like who's in a situation who's adversely affected by the rules that have been in this place in this country for decades. And that is all that I have to say on these stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy and want to support this content, there are links for my Patreon and PayPal pages below. Don't forget to subscribe and sign up for alerts so that you don't miss a single video. As always, good night and God bless.